Okay, and welcome to the second installment of Camera Basics, and this will demonstrate audio controls that are behind the viewfinder and some of the other basics of the camera operation. Now, if you'll look here, behind where the viewfinder folds in, we have some very important controls. Now, some of these may not be all that useful today, but I will go over what most of them are. Now, first of all, this is your bars control. You might wonder, what is that? Well, I'll show you. If you turn it on, then your camera generates a bars signal. Now, why in the world would you want to do that? Well, if you wanted to calibrate the camera or calibrate other equipment, your color bars are a good way of doing that. And so just hit it again, and the bars go away. Okay, you also have, over here, you have the WFM. That is a waveform. And so that will give you, in addition to your image, that will give you a waveform monitor display, which will show you where your light levels are, which is a very useful thing if you actually want to make sure of something wrong with the lights. And so your zebra control gives you a little light meter, which doesn't really work all that well. But just to show you what it looks like, if you turn it on, you will see, or you might be able to see, that certain parts of the screen, if it's too bright, will come up with little zebra spots. And so also, in addition to your waveform, you get a vector scope, so I have to waveform again to clear that altogether. Okay, so the more important stuff that happens here is in the audio section here. Now you notice you got your audio levels here. We talked about those. But your inputs are frequently misassigned. And so, to understand how this works, if you look at your camera built-in microphone, that is a stereo microphone, and it is reasonably good, but it is not very personal, meaning a lavalier is a whole lot better. And you'll see that I'm using a wireless microphone right now that is bypassing the audio. I'm also recording on a secondary source as well, so it doesn't really matter. Now, if I were to flip these switches upwards to internal, if you'll look at the readings, those are your readings, and that is coming directly. See, if I tap on that, you can see. If I boost them a little bit, you can see that's coming off of the internal microphone. And there are many reasons why you don't want to do that, but it's available to you. Now, you can also set one of them on input 1 and the other on input 2, and you might wonder, well, where are those inputs? Well, if you look at the other side of the camera, there they are. Input 1 and input 2. Right now we have the wireless microphone going into input 2, and so that is where its signal is going. Input 1 could be something else, or you could set them both to input 2 and record input 2 on both channels. So, what the heck, let's do that. Okay, so we've also got something else that's problematic. You see channel 1 and channel 2 here. You can choose to set your levels manually, or you can put them on automatic. I recommend that you do it manually because if something goes wrong, you don't want to be able to blame the camera. You want to be able to take responsibility for your own actions and mistakes. Now, one other thing, which is surprising to me, is right at the top of the camera, you will notice on the opposite side as where the inputs go, you got this switch between mic and line. So, if for some strange reason you wanted to record the output of a DVD player, you might set that on line and basically plug it into one of those inputs. And that would be fine. Now, in all of my life, I have never done anything like that with a camera, because the camera is for acquisition. So always make sure that is set on mic. If you set it on line, suddenly your microphones won't work, and you won't be able to record a doggone thing. So I seriously wish they did not have this switch on the camera. I have half a mind to pull it out, but I haven't done so yet. But that gives you your basic camera operations with regard to audio and other basic settings. We're going to talk about this one next, which is your menu control, where you can adjust the basically the menu options, and this is nothing more than up, down, left, right. It also allows you to play back a video that you have recorded should you need to, but it's just as easy to take that out and play it on the computer. And the last thing we'll talk about here is the back of the camera. You'll notice that the back of the camera has this door where, make sure we get the light on that, that is where your SD cards go. There's an SD card in there now that's recording. It should still be recording, I think. And an SD card slot which is currently empty. And there you go. You also have over here a bunch of flaps where if you need to plug in or take an HDMI output or a DV output, you can. You also have an SDI output, which is, it looks like a BNC connection. You have a camera remotes and stuff like that, which I can't really get there. And those are rarely used. And finally, you've got data outputs. You've got USB, with the older type of USB, and of course you got your headphones, which I strongly recommend that you bring. And so hopefully this is not rocket science, but I want you to be aware that these things exist.